All right, a little inchy clown pied action. This male is putting some nice size on. He's about 1.5 years old now. He was born in May of last year, and he might even go into the breeding rotation. He's a little on the small side, but he's put a lot of size on recently. I'm surprised. I think Pablo really upped his feeding. Once these guys can start eating small rats or super jumbo mice, they really start to add size. What's up, snake fans? Dave Palumbo here for Muscle Serpents Daily, and we're going to be taking a look in the snake room today at, I don't know what we're going to be looking at. That's what makes today so amazing. It was absolutely pouring here earlier to the point where you couldn't even see across my driveway. And as quickly as it started, it stopped. So I went into the snake room. I filmed a bunch of snakes that I really like. Ball python stuff that just kind of gets me excited. You know, stuff that I'm growing up for next year, more than likely. I don't think any of this stuff is going to go this year. But stuff that I have in the rack for over a year now that I'm putting size on. We're feeding. They're going to start moving up, hopefully, to rats this month, and really packing on the size. And it'll be the next generation of breeders here at Palumbo's Pythons and Boas. So without further ado, let's take a look. All right, we got our little Mel Bones python who looks very hungry. He's coming after me like he wants to eat, which is not good. Definitely don't want to get bit. He's very friendly normally, but I don't trust him. For some reason, he looks like he's hungry. And I don't want to be a meal for him. All right, we got him back in the cage. Okay, he knows he's not getting fed now. There he is. Clean, fresh shed. We'll pull this out of here. And he's looking really good in his little naturalistic setup there. Eventually he's going to go outside at some point. And he loves to climb on his log. I'll give him that much, which I really like to see. I like the fact that they're climbing. I think outside, when we give him a lot of arboreal options, he's going to really take advantage of it quite a bit. He's really black. He looks like he's getting blacker to me. I don't know. What do you think, Pablo? His tail looks blacker. He doesn't have any striping on him at all. Beautiful head. These guys like to eat though. You got to really limit them because they will get fat and then they'll never breed for you. So they have to be kept lean, almost like a green tree python. You do not want to overfeed these guys, especially the males. Males get lazy when they eat too much. All right, a little inchy clown pied action. This male is putting some nice size on. He's about 1.5 years old now. He was born in May of last year, and he might even go into the breeding rotation. He's a little on the small side, but he's put a lot of size on recently. I'm surprised. I think Pablo really upped his feeding. Once these guys can start eating small rats or super jumbo mice, they really start to add size quite at a much greater rate. It's hard to get them to that point, but once they start eating the bigger prey items, they'll grow much faster. So I'm keeping him in the little hatchling rack, the ARS, because he's still small enough to keep it here, but they feel very confident in here. So a lot of times when you move them out of the hatchling rack, they'll stop eating. So if you have a snake that's on the verge of possibly breeding for you in a couple months, don't move him. Even though it looks like he's in too small of a container, keep him in there until you know he's big enough, and then if you want to move him, that's fine, because then it doesn't matter anymore. But this guy's still growing. We're not touching. I'm not moving him for anything. Here's a really nice leucistic clown that just shed out, and this little girl is absolutely gorgeous. She's got a lot of genes in her. I'm really pretty certain that she's leucistic from either super lesser or super new gene. She's definitely spot nose. I'm pretty sure I could see it with the UV light. She could be leopard, and she's definitely clown. She's 100% a visual clown. Just spectacular looking. It's one of the nicest looking white ball pythons I've seen. I don't know why, but there's just something about this combination that's really, really breathtakingly beautiful. And I produced a couple of these. And obviously I'm growing them up. I'm keeping the whole clutch, and I'm just going to see what I get from these guys because they're so really special looking. Here's a clutch mate of the girl I just showed you, the leucistic clown. This is probably lesser leopard, possibly new gene clown in here too as well. Another female, nice size on her, really growing well. We kept this whole clutch back because just whenever you have a new gene that you're trying to prove out, it's silly to sell it. You're not going to get what it's worth unless someone wants to really invest in the project, and I haven't really proven what it is yet. I'm suspecting the super form might be a leucistic. I have to really prove that out 100% before I can actually go making statements. But this, I think this is a leopard lesser new gene clown female. She's really beautiful. I've produced these before and bred them out, and that's when I get the leucistic. So I want to make sure that it's not a super lesser and that it's a super new gene before I can actually start making statements. But she's growing. They're growing. All these 22s are really starting to put some nice size on. All right, here's a clutch mate to the first leucistic and the other snake I just showed you. This is a male version of that leucistic clown. So we have a female and a male. I think we have another female too, but interesting. There's not a speck anywhere of darkness on this snake. And it's got these like, it's hard to explain. The scales just look a little different than other leucistics. I don't know why. Probably because there's other genes in here. What they are, impossible to really know, but we'll have to breed them out and find out. Obviously, I won't breed leucistic to leucistic because then we're going to get all leucistics, but we'll breed some of these leucistics to some of the other litter mates and see what we get. Here's a nice little interesting clown that I produced this past year. Disco Fire. I'm pretty sure this is a Disco Inferno. Pinstripe. Possible high intensity orange dream. I'm pretty sure it's orange dream. It looked pretty high intensity when it was born, and it's a visual clown. So it looks pied, but I think that's because of the disco in here and the fire. The disco, what we call Disco Inferno, acts like super. Pretty sure that's what did it. Pinstripe probably wiped out the pattern, and it's obviously a visual clown. It's got those black eyes, you can see that. So this is, I'm obviously holding this back, this little girl, because I've been trying to produce Disco Inferno clowns for a while. This is the first time I hit it, and she's just so cool looking that I'm like, yeah, you know what, I'm gonna keep her, breed her, we'll see what we produce from her. So I have a lot of snakes like this that I just kind of, they put in the rack, we feed them, and we'll just wait until they're ready to breed. Not putting any pressure on them to breed. This girl is, like I said, this girl was produced this year, and she's put some nice size on already. So actually, yeah, she was produced this year, I'm pretty sure. I thought she was a 22. I wonder if we put the wrong tag on this, but you can tell she's just really different looking. I would swear she's a clown pied, you know, if I didn't know what I bred. There's no pied in here whatsoever, so that's all Disco Inferno. Here's a really nice little boy we produced last year. Albino Enchi, I think he's Enchi. Scaleless head. So he could potentially help us produce a scaleless albino, which we have not done yet. We missed this year. And I really believe maybe that my male I used wasn't scaleless head, but I mean, we had like 8 babies. I don't know how we missed, to be honest with you, but this little boy is really nice. Once again, when you get scaleless head into these albinos and into anything pretty much, it makes them like a high definition. It definitely does more than just take a few scales away from the head. It definitely creates I don't know what it does. It must take a layer of it. The scales are still here, but it must take away a layer of something that blocks like light or something like that, or refracts light, because they just look high definition. That's the best way to describe it. Here's a really nice looking female holdback from, this girl is from March of 22, so she's actually a little small, I guess, you know, because she's over a year and a half old. But, you know, we haven't really been power feeding these guys at all. Probably should start, because I think she's at that stage where she can actually start, you know, putting on some good size. Banana, possible super orange dream, possible super enchi. Leopard, I think she's yellow belly too, and she's pied. Possible hypo in there as well, but she's one of the nicest pieds I've produced. And I don't, usually banana females are not they're very rare in my collection. The reason being is because most of my male banana pieds are male makers, not female makers. This one was an anomaly. As I said, there's no definitive rules in ball python breeding, and sometimes you get something that violates the rules. So this little girl has put some, look, she's got some decent size. Like I said, I think she could start eating small rats now, and if she does, she'll start really packing the size on. Definitely looks super entry to me because of the pinched head. I think she's super orange dream as well. And just, she's low white, which would definitely also confirm the super entry. And once again, one of these girls that I just have in the rack, we feed. And at some point, in the next year or so, she's gonna hopefully give us some really nice eggs and a really nice litter and a really nice clutch. We just have to figure out who to pair it to. All right, we'll wrap up today, this final video, with our Rhino Rat snake female. This is supposedly our blue line female that we got last year, and she's starting to turn. She originally, if you remember when I showed you her originally when we got her, she was beige. They all come in beige. That's what they're born looking like. And they start to turn like a greenish color. Most of them stay green because their Rhino Rat snakes are predominantly green. But there is a blue line in Europe that supposedly I own. My male that I've had for 2.5 years is still not, he's got a couple blue speckles in him, but he's not completely. This one actually looks a little bit more blue right off the bat. But supposedly they turn green and then blue. So we'll see. She's definitely starting to turn green. She's got a green head, obviously. She does have some blue speckling here on her body. She's a really good eater, Pablo said. She'll eat like 2 pinkies. I think he has her up to fuzzies now, 2 fuzzies a week. And she's putting on the size. And as soon as she gets big enough, I might cohabitate her in that nice 3-foot cage that I have the male in. But right now she's a little too small for that. I want to make sure she's eating and everything does well for her here. But once again, we're trying to keep her nice and moist. They do like moisture. You'll see she'll lay in the water bowl right after she eats usually. She likes to soak the water in. And we try to keep our cage, especially with the new cocoa blocks we're doing, as moist as possible. So these Rhino Rat snakes have a really nice personality too. They're really easy to handle. They're not really biters. My kids really love them, and they look cool. I mean, let's face it, it's one of the coolest looking snakes I know. At least the snout is, and they're really arboreal. They will, if you give them the ability to climb, they will. That's all they do all day. They're always in like the branches, the top of the cage. I'll show you my male before we wrap up. He loves it. All right, my male, like I said, is on top of the cage there. I'll see if I can get a weird angle and you can get a look at him. Yeah, he likes to hang out in that little shelf of the cage. Right there he is. There he comes. He likes to be up high. And he's not a scaredy cat. He's very social, this guy. Like I said, my son holds him, as most colubrids do. He's shaking his tail like a little rattlesnake. But you can see he's got a big cage. The lights are out now because the timer went off. But he'll spend his time up as high up in the cage as he can do it. A lot of times I'll see him on the branches too. So that just goes to show you that these guys do like to climb a lot. And hopefully my female at one point in time, maybe another year, will be in this cage as well. All right, guys, that's going to do it for today. Hope you liked the snakes I showed you. Those Rhino Rat snakes, they're so cool. I wish I had like 10 or 20 of them. At some point, I hope I can really get them to breed. I probably won't sell any of them either, because I think they're the coolest. Just set them up in cool display cages, and once you get them to start eating, you have to get them going first, because and they're not trouble eaters or anything like that, but they're just so tiny. They're like little worms. They're so small when they're born that like you have to keep them in the tightest enclosures because they will escape. You'll never find them again. So, but once they hit like the stage I showed you that female in, they're starting to get like almost like bulletproof. They're absolutely a pleasure to be with. They're starting to turn green and they're starting to eat real well. And man, and I can't wait to put that girl into I might even put her into one of the 2-foot enclosures we're setting up in my Australian room. that's going to be coming up later this week. Hopefully Pablo's building me a stand today, and then we're going to, or tomorrow I should say, and then we're going to put those cages. We bought, I think I have 5 of those cages. We're going to set those up and put some nice display animals in there. But that's it for today. If you like what you're seeing, show us the love. Hit that subscribe button, turn on those notifications, hit that like button. I'll see you back tomorrow morning.